Hey everyone, Mike here. As I was going through some more training this morning from our great leaders at my company, I was recommended another book that I've read a long time ago, and this is the second time in a week that we've gone over this information. And it must mean that it's pertinent, and I wanted to share it with everybody else. So here's a book recommendation. I know you can't see it, it's backwards, but this is Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which many people are familiar with, but he also wrote this book called Cash Flow Quadrant. And the importance and relevance of the cash flow quadrant is really just talks about the different ways to get paid in the United States. And as you see here, there's four letters on the cover of the book. There's the E, S, the B, and the I. And unfortunately, about 90% of people fall into the employee quadrant. This is where people work in 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever have you, usually 40 hours a week. They get paid a salary. They're trading their time for their income. In other words, if they don't go to work, they're not getting paid. They have to serve a boss. They have to serve a manager. They have to do specific tasks in order to get a paycheck. And in that situation, you're always going to be asking for time off, asking for a raise. You're really at the You're really at the expense of the business owner, the person who's hiring you to do that specific job, and that's not a way to get wealthy in this country. So the next quadrant that the author talks about is the S quadrant, the self-employed quadrant. But again, that's more like trading your time for your money. A lot of people don't like having a boss, myself included. I never liked having a boss, so I decided that I wanted to become self-employed, where I get to choose the people I get to work with. I get to make my own schedule. Unfortunately, being self-employed, you're still trading your time for your money. Again, you got to chase your clients down. If you happen to be a contractor, like I was at one point in my life, I was a contractor, a heating and air conditioning contractor, but I had to go find clients. If I didn't have any clients, then I wasn't making any money. If I didn't work on some kind of project, I didn't have any money. You see doctors, many times the doctors have their own private practice. It's the same kind of thing. They might be making a lot more money being a doctor, but again, they're trading their time for their income. If they don't have any clients to see, or if they go on vacation and no one's actually helping their patients, then they're going to be actually not making income. So the premier place to actually have income coming in, the difference between active and passive income is this B quadrant right here, where you get to be a business owner. Now, a lot of people understand owning a business means that you have to put a lot of time up front, and that's true. You get to actually spend time building the operation, making sure that you have some kind of system. But you also have to build the people who are going to work in that system. So you have to find, recruit, and hire the employees. You have to maybe have a manager that you've trained. But the difference between that and being self-employed is now you have a system, you have employees, you have people that you can leverage yourself to have your income. So now you more have after you've built this business, you have a passive income stream. I liken to the McDonald's, Many franchise owners, business owners at McDonald's, they're not working at McDonald's, right? They've hired the cashiers, the store manager, the fry cooks, and what have you. And those business owners are spending time working on maybe buying another McDonald's or some other kind of business that they want to put together. Or maybe they're out there playing golf, right? Because they've generated a passive income stream. And then the fourth one, real quick, is the I quadrant, the investor quadrant. Everybody knows Warren Buffett was one of the most well-known and prolific investors. That's where you're leveraging the stock market. You're leveraging assets that you already have with the ability to get more assets. And so if you could get to a point where you're actually, you have some kind of investment, maybe you've invested in a business, maybe you've invested in stocks, maybe you've invested in something that's going to generate income for you. But again, it's about leveraging that product or that system for you to bring in cash flow on a regular basis, and not have to trade your time for your money. So at WFG, the company I work with, we teach people how to move from that employee mindset to become self-employed, to be able to call your own shots, to be able to make your own schedule, to be able to work with who you want to. And eventually, you have an opportunity of building a business where you have a team of people that are working for you, and you can take some time off in the summertime and go on vacation. Heck, you can spend time with your family overseas, or if you have an illness or an injury in the house, you don't have to worry about anything because you have a system built for you. And from day one, being in a money business, we teach you how to become an investor, how to save your money, how to put it to work for you, how to get great returns, and it's an awesome thing. So, I challenge everybody who's listening to this to figure out how you become self-employed if you're already an employee. And if you don't like a boss, like I didn't like a boss, try to figure out how to do your own thing or work with a company like ours that teaches you how to become self-employed. Eventually, you want to move into becoming a business owner because then you can leverage that. And finally, get to be an investor. Learn how to grow your money. Spend the days doing what you want to do instead of having a slaving to the man to work for somebody else. I really highly encourage people to do that. Utilize this cash flow quadrant, and if nothing else, at least read the book and get some insight from one of the masters business coaches and finance gurus out there. So that's all I got to say. Have fun, guys. Do what you got to do. Take care. Bye-bye.